If 2024 taught us anything about the state of Disney Star Wars and what they should do with it right now, well, just look to the Acolyte and now Skeleton Crew. You could not have two more completely different shows, at least in terms of its appeal to an audience. The Acolyte was widely panned, despised in many cases for its poor storytelling, poor writing, poor character development, and frankly, just a hot mess of everything, everywhere, all at once. Skeleton Crew, on the other hand, does not have that big of an audience, but the people that are watching it seem to think that it's okay or they're enjoying it. But the key is that it doesn't have that big of an audience. And that's something that is very important right now to Disney. And looking at things like this, even from a few weeks ago with Paul Tassi, which we covered previously, but I think it's important to remind folks of this article today. Skeleton Crew, the Acolyte, and the Disney Star Wars spiral. See, it doesn't really matter what you think about this if nobody's watching these shows. And the Acolyte, of course, was one of the worst, pretty much the worst viewed show of a major IP on Disney Plus. And now Skeleton Crew has come along and sunk to an even new low. It doesn't matter if Star Wars is good or bad at this point. You have created an atmosphere of fan apathy, and that is the most dangerous and financially destructive thing an IP like this could face.
Read your member chat.
The ship is righting. Jesus is making a comeback. Normality will ensue. Star Wars is still dead. Take me fishing. Maybe.
Oh, come on. Let's go. Get your butt down here. Let's go, man.
Real quick, do you like Skeleton Crew or not?
So your point earlier was almost like verbatim my exact take on it. It's not a bad show.
It's not.
Legitimately, it's not a bad show. And so that's what I think is so funny is so many people are like, X-Wing, are you watching it? Are you enjoying it? Right? This is like the best Star Wars we've had. And I find it so funny because there's nothing, it's not Star Wars. That's the bottom line. We've transformed Star Wars into just sci-fi. We've taken away what made Star Wars, and now it's just a different sci-fi setting like any other universe. And these people think you can just plug in a story and slap some force on it and you have Star Wars. No, it's reductive at best.
You know what it reminds me of? Remember like when sci-fi on cable, it's not so much doing it now, but remember for like that good 20-year run, Tom, when you would go to the Sci-Fi Channel and you would see the cheap Sci-Fi Channel make, spin-off of whatever movie was playing that was a decent movie.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be bad. It would just be like not quite there,
I was just talking to Sundowners Club. I'm sure you guys know that guy earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Today,
I love that guy.
And we were talking about the early 80s, mid 80s, when you would go to buy the Star Wars toys and they had the option next to it for like star battles. And instead of a stormtrooper, it's like a storm soldier. And the parents would buy these, storm soldiers in white armor, but it wasn't Star Wars. It kind of looked like it. I guess it imitated it, but really it didn't have any of the original IP in it. And I think that's where we are.
Yeah, I mean that sounds about right. I mean,
only in name.
The problem is, and that's what I've observed. I've talked about that before. Is that remember like Andor, right? It's people liked it. Yeah, some people did, some people didn't. Some people said, "Oh, it started out slow. It was this or that," but generally people liked it. The problem is the same thing as it always is with Disney Plus. It kind of doesn't matter anymore. You've pissed on the grave for so many years. You've burned the fans so hard. Marvel and Star Wars. The apathy is done. That's locked. It doesn't matter how good of a something that you produce. It's like the Mando movie. It's going to suffer tremendously by virtue of the fact that you have already burned the crap out of your audience.
Yeah.
So even if the Mando movie managed to pull off $750 million because it's got Star Wars in front of it, which it should, in its sleep, it should be able to do that. Star Wars movie comes out, it should be able to do $1 billion in 2025, given the ticket prices, within a matter of a month.
Should.
Keyword. Right, should. The problem, and I don't know what kind of shenanigans Disney is going to have to try to pull with that one, because, I mean, look, we can see The Acolyte, we can see Skeleton Crew, nobody's watching it. Nobody cares. It's just become a dumpster fire of postmodernistic intersectional feminism for the girls at Lucasfilm to diddle on Disney Plus.
The power of many.
It. The power of many. The power of many not watching your shit. And that's basically what it boils down to. So to me, it's like, I don't know what more you can really do, but, hey, good luck with it. Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.